Hello everybody, welcome back to video, and I know I usually start these new campaign trails by reading the descriptions, but I would like to instead offer this opening statement. I would like to offer my sincere condolences to the family of Jimmy Carter. I am truly sorry for their loss. I personally think that he was not a great president, but I do believe that he was a good man who did what he thought was best for this country. And his work, particularly with things like Habitat for Humanity, should definitely be something that is remembered as a positive. But that being said, I figured in this video, along with offering my condolences to his family, I do think that it would be interesting to look at Jimmy Carter's re-election bid and try to actually win it. So that's what I'm going to do in this episode of the new campaign trail. As the 1980 election kicks into high gear, the country is demoralized. Inflation is spiking while wages remain stagnant. 52 Americans are being held hostage in Iran, and the public has less and less faith in the government to do the right thing. Ronald Reagan is a well-known former actor and governor of California who narrowly lost the nomination in 1976 to Gerald Ford, but has easily won it this year. President Jimmy Carter will try to win re-election after facing a contentious primary against Ted Kennedy. All right, we're playing as Jimmy Carter, a Democrat from Georgia. Jimmy Carter is the current president of the United States and is seeking a second term. He entered the office at a time of crisis, hoping to heal the nation from the wounds of Vietnam and Watergate. For the past 4 years, he has had low approval ratings and is largely unpopular. He is on the right of the Republican Party on economic issues. Carter has faced severe criticism with its liberal wing after winning an unusually tough primary battle for an incumbent against liberal challenger Ted Kennedy. Carter begins the general election trailing his opponent in the polls, largely due to his perceived indecisiveness and poor judgment. The compounding crisis of stagflation and the Iran hostage situation only exacerbate this. It's certainly not impossible for Carter to win this election, but it'll take a lot more than his famous grin. Walter Mondale, a Democrat from Minnesota. Walter Mondale is the current vice president and is the presumptive running mate for Carter's second term. He is well liked by most Democrats and would not upset anyone if he were on the ticket again. However, Mondale has expressed some frustration about the president's poor relations with Congress. Does not want to upset the party. To keep him happy, Carter should strike a more conciliatory tone with rival Democrats if he wants to defeat Reagan this fall. Picking anyone other than Mondale would make Carter look indecisive and would terrorize party leadership with flashbacks of George McGovern's Thomas Eagleton disaster in 1972. Sometimes it's best not to rock the boat. But on the other hand, Americans are looking for a change, and maybe a fresh face on the ticket could help. We're just going to stick with Mondale. Despite a few unsubstantiated rumors, you've stuck with current Vice President Walter Mondale, opting not to dish him for someone else. What can you say about your running mate? Vice President Mondale and I have been serving and fighting for this country day in and day out for change. I plan to continue our progress for the next 4 years. Vice President Mondale is the most qualified person for the job. He has served this country tirelessly, and that is what we will do in our second term. How do we start out in the polls? 128 electoral votes. Okay, nice. We can work with that. Walter Mondale has maintained his popularity among most Americans throughout all this turmoil. Many are happy to see him again on the ballot. Many are happy to see him on the ballot with you again. What will be your overall campaign strategy this fall? We're going to have to go on the attack. I know a lot of Democrats in the party are angry about the way things are. I think it's important we stress our major successes in office while we campaign. How do we look? Okay. Let's highlight our successes. We are playing as an incumbent. We should highlight our successes. Rarely a bad idea. Okay, that got us a little bump. But if we can flip Tennessee and Kentucky our way, that'll help. So, how do you plan to attack Reagan, knowing he's broadly popular with a few weak spots? Let's take the high road here, because we could go on the attack. But Reagan is so far ahead of us. Oh, well, he is ahead of us, but let's take the high road here. Do you plan to mention the creation of the Department of Education under your administration while you campaign? Okay. I think it's good to talk about this in moderation, but I would be hesitant to make it one of our main points. Yes, I want to talk about this extensively in my speeches and writing. This was one of my biggest campaign promises that I fulfilled. There's no good reason to not talk about helping American kids learn and grow. The Department of Education is a force for good, but others feel differently. Let's talk about it in moderation. Okay. Recently, Reagan made a gaffe. How do you plan to respond? I don't think it's wise for us to make a comment on this. I think a better idea would be to run attack ads across the North in big liberal states like New York and Massachusetts. Great choice. These are the types of voters who can be won over with attacks like this. Just be careful to not go too far. Okay. What is your plan to rebound the stagnant economy in your second term? I know we can do better, and we will do better in my next term. We need more programs and spending to get people back to work, in addition to my administration's existing policies. Let's go with that. This is the hopeful response people want to hear, although advocating for more government spending is met with its expected detractors. Okay. We're winning Wisconsin. Well, we're tied in Wisconsin. Okay. You've recently come under attack for invoking the Taft-Hartley Act to end the 110-day coal strike. How do you plan to address this? Okay, so it sounds like we need to back the decisions that we've made. Okay. That's our big thing. Back our decisions. Attack Reagan where we can, and not make any big mistakes. But I mean, to be fair, that's the name of the game in general if you're playing as an incumbent. I will admit I do have my regrets, and this one could be big. These strikes were hurting and slowing our economy, but the reforms we have made will prevent anything like this from happening in the future. These strikes were hurting and slowing American businesses across the country. I have no regrets. Let's go for the hurting and slowing our economy. This is a good compromise without walking back on your own decisions. Okay, and look at that. 224. We could do this. As governor of California, Reagan opposed Medicare, which holds one of the highest approval ratings of any government program. Do you want to make any attacks against him about this? We need to go on the attack. Too many people in the country are suffering, and abolishing Medicare would only make things worse. I don't think it's a good thing to attack Reagan on. The governor has already made a public comment pledging not to harm Medicare as president. Well, I mean, let's just not attack him here. Man, we got a large amount to cover. So, in your State of the Union address earlier this year, you introduced your foreign policy vision for the future. In your speech, you said any threats to the Persian Gulf would be an assault on the vital interests of the United States. Many are wondering how far you will go to defend American interests. Maybe I could have worded this differently, but my main point is we shouldn't go to war without a good reason. I regret some of the things I said. We don't need to go into another major conflict. We can't have other countries harming the American economy through force, so I would be in favor of defending our interests there. I think our main priority should be defending military interests in that region, no matter the price, no matter the cost. Well, let's go with this first answer. That's going to be our best bet. This is a moderate answer that offends nobody. In light of the recent Soviet invasion in Afghanistan, should the United States boycott the 1980 Summer Olympics in Moscow? This is not the right thing to do. We should be working with the Soviets, not against them. Yes, we should. The Soviet Union is committing some of the worst human rights violations in history. It's good to take a strong stance here. But we're not at 200 votes. Washington, D.C. Well, Reagan isn't even on the ballot in Washington, D.C. We're going to get those three easy. Louisiana. we could get Louisiana on our board, maybe. Progress on the Equal Rights Amendment has faltered in recent years, despite its widespread early approval. How do you plan to act on this? It just isn't popular these days. I promise to pass it. I don't support this amendment. This amendment would harm our labor unions more than anything. Let's promise to pass it. It isn't super popular, but liberals and feminists are happy to see you stick up for it. Okay. I thought that, okay, we lost electoral votes. I thought that would help us gain some votes. Today, Mount St. Helens has erupted in Washington, killing 75 people and destroying the environment around it. How will you respond to this? Vice President Mondale and I will momentarily stop our campaigning to go to the mountain. I want to make a speech there and view the damage firsthand. Good move. Reagan has also stopped campaigning for the day. Many Americans were reassured about your speech in this time of hardship. Okay, that helped us a little bit. Look, we're at 199. John Anderson, a third-party challenger, has some surprisingly high numbers in a few liberal states. Will you attack him in response? No. Let's not bring up Anderson. Good call. In any election, it is best to not talk about a third-party candidate. Will you participate in a presidential debate between you, Reagan, and Anderson? Now, in real life, Carter skipped this debate, and it probably hurt him. It's interesting, right? Because I don't know, but he did skip out on this debate. He would ultimately go on to debate Reagan by himself, but he would skip this debate. So, honestly, if he had made this debate, he probably would have done better in the general. So, we're going to go for the debate. So, we're going to go with this middle one, I think. Wow, you surpassed expectations, and Reagan stumbled at a few moments. This will help you quite a bit. Yes. Okay, we're still losing, but that helped us big time. Okay. Iran has just invaded Iraq, and bombing of oil fields has already begun. Do you think America should intervene in this conflict? And if so, how? Okay, yes, we must defend American interests in that region. I will ask Congress to declare war on Iran. Okay, that might be a little too much. No, I do not want America involved in this at all. I will not send any young man to die in a situation we have nothing to do with, nor will I supply a country which has shown no willingness to use said supplies effectively. Okay, those might be rough either way. Let's go with this one. People are happy to see you won't get involved in a war like Vietnam while still sticking to a strong stance on this issue. Okay. Your decision to return the Panama Canal earlier in your first term was detested by the right, and although many want to put the issue to bed, there are questions regarding your current stance on such a highly controversial decision. How do you respond? Ultimately, this is the right thing to do. The people of Panama have had no power over land in their own country, or have regrets about this decision. This is something we did, so we need to back it. There's nothing wrong with a short answer about the Panama Canal, all except the most diehard right-wingers are tired of hearing about it. Okay. We can still win this. We just have to be careful. Do you think it's fair for you to take credit for SALT II, a massive arms agreement between the U.S. and the Soviet Union? Turning nuclear peace treaties into partisan battles sets a dangerous precedent. What we have accomplished is head and shoulders beyond what past administrations have done, and I am proud of this agreement. SALT II doesn't have universal approval, but it's good to see a strong defense of your own achievements. Okay. Recent allegations have surfaced about your brother Billy Carter's dealing with the Libyan government. These are centered around a $2 million payment the Libyans gave him. The accusations have even prompted a Senate subcommittee to hold a hearing on this issue. How do you plan to address this? Ooh, this ain't good. Let's give a televised address directly from the Oval Office to talk about these very serious allegations. That's going to bring it up even more. This is how low the Republicans were willing to go. I thought dragging in family members was off limits for any political campaign, especially a humble peanut farmer like my brother. This is one of the worst attacks to come across the national stage in a long time. I'm not even getting close to this. Let's keep quiet on this. Let's not. It's best to keep your distance from this. Okay. The fallout of Billy Carter's scandal, your advisors recommended you change the message of your campaign. The young new governor of Arkansas is offering to campaign with you and start over with a hopeful message for the future, partly to help his own struggling campaign. Okay. Yes, we need to get this scandal off of people's minds. I think this is a great idea. Governor Clinton is a highly respected governor, especially with female voters. This is the right move. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, we're so close. So close. Ted Kennedy's biggest policy proposal in his Senate career thus far has been pushing for a nationwide health care system, which has been considered for decades. Do you plan to implement this? It's better if we didn't talk about the support is still mixed. It hasn't been an easy thing to push through Congress anyway. Yeah, let's do that. This isn't a terrible move, and it probably won't be a big issue this election. Man, that hurt us. Okay, let's go to Illinois. The League of Women Voters has invited you and Reagan to a final debate 2 weeks before the election. Will you accept? Yes. Unexpectedly, you seem to have beaten Reagan here despite his charm. We're still losing. Okay, the inflation rate today has hit 10%. Was your plan in your second term to control this ever-growing number? If we just had a balanced budget and less nonsense spending, there wouldn't be issues like this. It's probably not going to be our best one. We must start controlling wages and prices to lower the high inflation rates and get this economy moving. Ooh, that's going to be an even more iffy one. Some limited federal measures to alleviate the worst effects of this downturn are what we need most. Let's go for that. And okay, we're still losing, but maybe we'll get something. As you step off the podium for your last press conference before the election, a reporter asks if you ever regret not intervening in the Iranian Revolution. What do you say? Each day I wake up feeling like I could have done more. So many of the issues our country faces now could have been prevented. We did the right thing, and there are only a few changes I would make today with the benefit of hindsight. I'll get back to you on that. If America intervened, that would have been morally wrong and against everything this country stands for. Let's go with this. Military intervention in Iran doesn't have the broad support it would need, so this answer should be fine. Oh, at this point, we could swing the election in our favor. As the country marks the somber anniversary of 1 full year after the American embassy workers in Iran were taken hostage, will you launch one last mission to save them before Election Day? Oh, we got 2 options for this. Operation Desert One is a go. No, I'm not going to put lives at risk for a cynical political ploy like this. If we can... I'm assuming one of these is a success and one of these is a failure. If we get the success... that should lock up the election for us, right? So, Operation Desert One is a go. Unfortunately, this attempt didn't work. And that sunk us significantly. Man. Yeah, I think we would have had the election if... Okay. Where will you focus your efforts? I mean, if we can get those, that's about 30-some. The East Coast. Let's go for the East Coast. Man, okay. Tell you what, we're going to speedrun this. And... we're just going to click the same... you know what? We're going to try to destroy Reagan at this point. You know what? I got a different idea. Let's do something I usually don't do. Just change the difficulty to easy. This is what we usually do it on normal. Let's do it on easy. And let's see how that goes. Okay. Oh, said easy immediately. We're winning. Okay. Luckily we know the questions. Stress successes. High road. Moderation. Liberal states. Okay. Hurting and slowing economy. Don't attack. Without a good reason. Boycott. Don't bring it up. All right. Don't bring up Anderson. Debate. Okay. Yeah, I know we're doing it on easy, but at the same time, there's only one setting down. Send in supplies. Right decision. Go. Don't get close to this. Okay. Campaign with Clinton. Mix support. Eagerly accept the invitation. Federal measures. Hindsight. Operation Desert One is a go. Okay. Yeah, I just did a speed run of that. Okay. We're winning Wisconsin, Illinois. Let's go do a round tour through the South. Congratulations, you have won. It was an uphill battle, but you prevailed after facing formidable opponents from the Republicans and within your own party. It's hard to say what major pieces of legislation you plan to push through in your second term, but you'll continue to face significant doubts about your trustworthiness. Hopefully you can guide the country out of recession and avert any future foreign policy embarrassments. 284 to 254. So actually, I think that's kind of close to how 76 was. Results by state. Wait. We lost the popular vote. How? We lost the popular vote. We lost the popular vote without winning California or Texas. We didn't win any of these states. It's a complete red line. All right. But either way, we did manage to win. And again, to end this video, I would just like to again offer my condolences to the family of Jimmy Carter. May he rest in peace. Bye.